Hi, I'm Yappo, and with me still is Kit.
Hello.
And we made it back to Jeet Stronghold after we went and looked at the jaw. So now we gotta make our car so we can make it through the jaw. But first, we're gonna go explore Jeet's territory a little bit. Because I think these are super cool, and I want you all to see all of them.
I like that you can set a map marker and it'll tell you the best route to go for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of just general good quality of life stuff that's completely bogged down by really tedious and repetitive portions of this game.
Yeah, the further you get into it, I've really come to appreciate a lot of the gameplay elements that this game actually has. Um, it seems like they've really taken some. It seems like this game is developed by people who have played games and been plagued by absolutely horrid experiences in the past.
I feel like it's a also sweet ramp off of that scarecrow.
Yeah, where's the bonus for that? I feel like there should have been some scrap involved.
Yeah, that would be nice if you got like big trick bonuses and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a few achievements related to airtime. They get you like Griffa tokens and levels, but other than that, got nothing. So we are off to use a hot air balloon to scout out the region.
I feel like that is not my vehicle of choice for wasteland travel.
Just pull a random guy out on the way by. Don't mind me. I pretty much drive around just like mashing the harpoon button, hoping it hits something, and I'll have some fun with it.
My question is, what's your threat level at this point? Because you have really been a menace to these individuals in Jeet's territory.
So basically everyone wants to kill us that's not like Jeet or Chumbucket right now.
I'm 50-50 on Jeet as well, because I think he could go either way.
Well, he likes us right now. Oh, there's another car there. I didn't notice. That's nice. Was almost about to destroy my vehicle. Oh, yeah, there it goes. So if your car dies all the way, it gives you 5 seconds to get out. And if you don't get out, it explodes and you die for real. And then you have to wait for Chumbucket to repair it before you can get back in.
I like that the shotgun method was way more efficient than killing it with your actual car.
Yeah, so the random extra cars in this game come in different levels, basically. And as of right now, we're at the level like 0 cars, where all of their fuel tanks are exposed, their tires are exposed, so if you can shoot a fuel tank or a tire, the car is basically either explodes or is just inoperable.
Okay. So the further we get along, they're going to start wising up to our antics and guarding that fuel tank.
Yeah, eventually at one point I think you can use like the max level harpoon to pull the guard off the fuel tank and can then shoot it, but that's a lot of juggling stuff around.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go up in this balloon and have a look-see around.
It's just, for me, given the amount of snipers that we've seen, this is not the most efficient way to do this. Or the safest.
Yeah, well, most of this... I mean, we don't see any lens flare, so we're fine, because all snipers we know have lens flare. But yeah, that big pillar of smoke there towards the left side of the screen is Gastown, and you can see Jeet's lighthouse there too. But no, I just really like the balloons, and I really like the mechanics. It's a lot like Assassin's Creed. You know, where you go to the high point,
Yeah.
and then you can look around and see all these different things.
Okay, this is kind of cool.
So it's like the camp where you can spot out, you know, oh, this defense there, except you spot out all the different Jeet stuff around here. Or not Jeet, all the different Scrota stuff.
And it shows you the difficulty as well, which I kind of like, you know, knowing kind of a bit of the challenge that you're moving into.
The only thing that has actually difficulty listed are the camps. But because the scarecrows are just, hey, run into this thing with your car, and it'll be fine. But I just really like the panorama you get in the balloons. Yeah, there's Chum's ship. You can still see it smoking. So I probably put too many of these together, but the first little bit is just us going around to these different balloons. So my internet is really not cooperating and keeps trying to drop the calls.
Yeah, it is really being a bit of a butthole.
So, yeah, we're going to try and make this as good as we can, but it might get a little choppy because I'm not going back and restarting all this. So a good portion of this video is going to just be going through and doing all these balloons so we can look at Jeet's territory and see what all we've got around.
Punching the wall for good measure there.
So you can actually look at all these history relics in the menu, so if people want to see what all the different history relics are, I can basically take some screenshots, post them in the thread, or post a video of me just going through them all so you can pause if you want. But for the most part, we won't really be taking time to look and read all of them. Again, it's one of those, you get a Chivo for it, but it's not really part of the game that you need to do to finish.
Yeah, I whenever I play a game, I'm pretty big on being a completionist, which is both good and bad.
Yeah, I am too, but this game is incredibly punishing to try and be a completionist on.
I have played a few like that, and it is not. It's more of a frustration towards the end of it than that feeling of relief that you're done.
Yeah, like, if it... Any perspective, I 100%ed Assassin's Creed 4. Like, 100%. And I still haven't gotten around to fully 100%ing this game because it's that much of a pain. This is a death run. We can do death races to get Griffith tokens.
Now that's kind of cool.
It is until you remember that literally every vehicle in this game, including all of the different Archangel designs he's got for you, have 2 different races to get Griffith tokens for them.
Not as cool.
It's a lot of stuff. And you see we just lowered to 4, so it popped up telling us that we can upgrade our car a little more now. I think the only thing it unlocked was a new harpoon, but harpoon rules, so...
Yeah, that's a big plus right there.
You saw at one point it said we couldn't pull down the tower without a level 3 harpoon, I think, and I don't think we can pull off wheels without a level 3 harpoon either.
Oh.
One other thing, since we were talking, in the last earlier about all the features we liked. So there's a convoy. Here's what it looks like. It's like usually 5 or 6 cars, with the big one in the middle is the one you got to take down. All it takes to discover a convoy is to drive on one of those like blacked out roads for like 20 feet, and then it tells you the entire convoy route on your map. So you don't have to try and figure out where it goes or follow it around or anything else like that. So we're going to try and look everywhere. And yeah, that's one of the achievements, is eat a bunch of maggots.
Well, pound for pound, it's more protein than the steak right there.
Yeah, that's true. How do you think it compares pound for pound with the dog food?
Hard to say. I mean, you're talking Dinky D's. You got all that meal in there. I'm thinking 70-30.
So yeah, we had to go the long way around, but it's also really good at giving you shortcuts back. Like when we finished the tower to look at the jaw in the last episode, there was a zip line like right there to be like, oh, here you go, here's back down.
Yeah, that's super convenient. I really do appreciate games that do that. There's a level of tediousness about having to walk through the entire area again, whereas this, you just kick a ladder down and you're good to go.
And it gives you a shortcut, yeah, to get back. So, as awful as some of this like grindiness is, they made it not as awful as it could have been. So that is nice. I'm pretty sure if you don't flip the switch, you can't use this balloon, but there's a giant switch there. Why would you not run up to it and try and press it on your way by? I feel like that's just video games 101.
Oh yeah.
Like, you see a switch, you run up and press it.
some aggressive driving going on in the background here.
Yeah, some of those guys are just all over the place. I'm pretty sure they found me here and are parking, if the radar is anything to be believed. Oh, there's your sniper. He's looking at us.
I'm telling you.
The lighthouse. Still a lot of war boys around.
I just absolutely love these sections.
That is really cool, I will say that. And I do like that it kind of gives you little specs to show you where you should be looking.
Yeah, because a lot of times the binoculars aren't great up and down. Like, it's hard to, like, scan around without making yourself feel really dizzy.
Yeah.
So I'll have to zoom back out. So I'm actually close enough to that camp that I ended up scouting the camp and the defenses on the camp just from looking at it from here.
I like that they've done that as well. Like, that's really kind of nice. It seems like they've gone through some pretty decent strides to remove a lot of the tedium that we find in video games, which is A+ to these guys.
Which is funny to me because they went back and added it in with the scrap system. Because you use scrap for everything. Like, almost all of your upgrades are scrap based, and it's so ubiquitous, but there's just none of it. And as disheartening as, like, dying or whatever is in a video game, it does not compare to opening up a crate and being like, oh, you got one.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a random element to that. Like, through multiple playthroughs, have you noticed any sort of RNG as far as the amount of scrap that you get from looting?
I believe it's random. I believe it's random from a pool. So, like, certain, containers can have between, like, 1 and 5, and certain things have, whatever. But
so you could just be on one heck of an unlucky run and come out with a substantial amount of less scrap than you need.
Yeah, which is weird because some of the people, when you kill them, have scrap on them too. And I've been getting really good drops from guys when they actually drop stuff, but my actual, like, static drops are just awful. I don't think I used that term right, but we're going to go with it.
Now, what I did notice is when you were looting, it actually showed you with your perk the amount of scrap that you got from it, and that's actually pretty substantial.
Yeah, so as of right now, the perk bonus is, I want to say, like 5%, 10% maybe. Eventually, when we level it up enough, it will be 50%, and that is very much worth it.
Yeah, that seems pretty decent. You looted 20, you get an extra 10. Like, that's game changing.
That's when we finally level it all the way up, which I will probably be prioritizing that one and the gas one, just because finding gas is tedious and a pain, and I don't like doing it because it just takes time of me running around not collecting scrap and not blowing things up with the gas cans, I find, which is the other big issue here.
It seems like gas hasn't really been an issue yet. Does that change later on in the game where you're pretty starved?
It does. Jeet's is there's 3 territories, and Jeet's is one of the smaller ones. Or there's actually 4 territories, but Jeet's is one of the smaller ones. And so you don't end up driving around a whole lot. And during all of my, like, scrap collecting and stuff, I'm using fast travel, which doesn't take your gas.
Okay, well at least that's pretty convenient. If it did, that'd be a little broken.
Like I say, you're right though. They did a bunch of, like, really good, like, quality of life things with the actual gameplay, but then they just went back and the money system is just horrendous. But yeah, I do love the broken down bridge that's always present over here on the east side of Jeet's territory.
It looks almost Golden Gate Bridge-esque.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I think that's kind of what they're going for. But oh yeah, and all of these that's me trying to do a perfect parry too much. And I would like to say that was on purpose, I just wasn't paying attention. So one of the other things is they can grab you, and if you don't mash out of the grab fast enough, they punch you in the kidneys a lot.
Yeah, nobody likes a kidney punch, and certainly not one with multiple people beating on you at once.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I won this, right? Why is my Fury still going? Oh, that guy's still alive. Just break his spine. So, are you excited? We get to see a new kind of loot right now.
I am excited.
I don't think you're ready for this. If I can remember where I'm going. Maybe. Maybe. There we go. Okay. It's a whole pallet of scrap. How much do you think this is worth? Oh, it popped up.
54.
Yeah. Literally, like, 3 times my size, and it's 54 scrap in there. I like his
Now,
little...
see, that was really low, though. So you got 2 scrap bonus from that one, but you also looted like a 24 earlier and got a 2 scrap bonus for that. Seems like it's a little bit inconsistent. It seems like maybe it's more of a static value, or maybe you just get like a random bonus scrap from...
So I thought it was percentage based, but I don't know if it just like rounds funny, like if it just floor values or something. I don't know.
And when you looted that 1 scrap there, you got an additional 1 scrap. So it seems like the bonus that you get is probably more, like the perk is more beneficial at looting 1 scrap because you get 100% value from it.
I do like too. I don't know if you noticed the scraps in this little like reading nook that looked out between the cliffs, where he had like, you know, an umbrella and a lounge chair, and
Oh yeah.
they've done a lot of that sort of stuff with environment building, where, you know, it'll be like it looks like someone might actually like live there.
And I like that they have a lot of the lounge chairs and things like that too. Like there's no actual like lookout posts. It's legitimately just like a lazy boy that they've sat on the side of some scaffolding.
Well, I mean, you don't want to stand around all day, do you?
I certainly don't.
So, you know, keep your watch in style.
And I can't imagine that they have a varied stock of compression stockings for standing around all day. So perhaps that is the best way to go.
I'm also trying to do these nice and slow so I don't give anybody motion sickness, because when you're playing, it seems a lot different than when you're trying to record it on video. So if I do give anyone any motion sickness, my apologies. I was trying to avoid it, but... Oh, and we moved up to Day Lizard from Roadkill.
Look at that.
So we are now officially in lizard territory.
What is Jeet going to say to you now?
He's probably still going to be sassy with us for not clearing out stuff fast enough.
Textbook Jeet.
I mean, my experience with him is pretty much just sass all the time. So that's the other reason, if you just saw that pop up, that I want to clear camps here fairly soon, is they give you money every so often. I guess from people disassembling the camp or continuing to run it even though you exploded it. Not really sure how it works, but it gives you scrap every so often, and that is very helpful.
That's kind of nice.
And get our Dinky D on here.
You've got to. Look at that.
There are also achievements for eating enough dog food and drinking enough water and pretty much everything. I want to say there's like 89 different achievements in this game, some of which are repeatable. So...
Get a spare shiv there. That's going to be...
Shivs always come in handy. Just going to throw that out there. Never hurts to have a shank at the ready. So I think we've got 2 more balloons, and then we go off and do some actual more story stuff. But... So I just really love how the balloons show off the territory and just kind of give you a chance to look around.
So once you use these balloons and find these areas on the map, is that something you can immediately fast travel to?
So the fast travel points are the balloons and the strongholds.
Okay.
But when you're up in the balloon, anytime you like see whatever through the binoculars, it marks it on your map for later.
Okay.
So it's mostly for the map marking, so I don't have to go hunt around for everything, because I don't remember where most of this stuff is.
That's pretty helpful.
I'll be completely honest. So, actually, there is, we'll get into the different diversion here in a little bit. Oh yeah, so if you get big sniper towers, you have to pull out the support pieces, because you can't pull down the full tower, and they'll have the 3 cables coming down to the ground. So you gotta remove those to get rid of them.
Now I'm noticing you're leveling up fairly quickly.
So I'm leveling up in Griffa legend levels, I guess you would say, fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Which only let me customize max.
Okay.
So I can, do a couple extra, I think I can, at this point, buy a nice jacket that helps protect a little bit from melee damage. And a couple things like that. But I am also only, rank, level, 10 or 11 out of, I think, 60 to hit maximum level. Which is the other nice thing, is because there's, 90 achievements and there's only 60 levels. So if you don't want to get all the achievements, you don't have to. You can still hit max level.
That is very much appreciated. Because sometimes, with some of the other stuff I've played, there's always that one super tedious achievement where you cannot, for the life of you, complete it. And that really detracts from the gameplay, I feel like.
Yeah, so I realized this one was still chained down, so I was like, oh crap, I gotta go undo the chain so I can actually use the balloon. Also like the shadows, how well they're done. Because I don't know if you've noticed that there's been shadows over in the balloon, and there's shadows of us actually up here on the platform.
I hadn't... I mean, now that you pointed it out, yeah, it's really well done. But it was not at all something that I had noticed before.
But it actually, it's still video game shadows, so they're not quite, as soft on the edges as they should be or whatever this time of day. But it still feels a lot more realistic with the day-night cycle.
Yeah.
Which is why this game has so many people just straight up angry. Is because there's so many good points in this game, and then so much just tedium to deal with afterwards. Did I need to actually destroy all... I guess I would have to destroy all of these. Second guessing my gameplay here now. It's never good.
I almost wonder if there's a modder out there who has come in and changed the scrap values for certain things to make it a little bit less tedious, and thus making it almost a perfect game.
I don't know that would be enough, but that would certainly go a long way to make it better.
Yeah.
Because, we got that pallet, and then we got a couple other things of scrap, and that was, less than 100 total?
Yeah, 54 for that massive pallet.
Yeah, I think it was actually just about 75 total. Which, 75 is what we spent on our 2 upgrade skills. The very first 2 combat upgrade skills we got were 75 scrap. So that entire place paid for just those upgrade skills. Not to mention, any car upgrades or anything else like that we might want to get eventually.
Yeah. We'll need it, too. Gotta get that level 3 harpoon ASAP. Start ripping off tires.
Yeah, it's a really great way to disable cars, but it's just not as much fun. It worked, like I say, it's really efficient and it works really well, but it lacks the same satisfaction of exploding a car or, harpooning the guy out of the driver's seat or, it's just not as good. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Maybe if it ejected the driver on tire ripping off.
Yeah, like if it had some big, the front digs in and flips over or something. And I was like, I didn't see very much stuff. Because it's all up here. I was looking down too close. So we're on the north side. Here's the big thing that has the jaw in it. Basically, the old port up there.
And it shows you all the locations of the scarecrows as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, once you go up in the balloon, it tells you basically everything you need to do to reduce the threat in the territory. Because all the red things are basically, these have threat, you have to destroy these to upgrade your car.
Yeah, this game is very much 100% friendly. from what I've seen so far. I mean, looting, telling you exactly what there is to loot, and telling you when it's done
is a very
and
nice
then,
feature. Yes, because
yeah.
anytime you're at any of these places, you can press, I think it's left control stick, and it will pop up how many of everything you have looted and you have left to find. So that part is nice. Like I say, it's so weird because there's all these like really great, really nice like design decisions, and then there's just whatever they're doing with some of this stuff. So if you saw the blue circles on the map, those are just random people we can go and chat with. There's a couple different things they'll provide you. One of which is information, so you can go and get intel on places by chatting with these people. It's like,
I've noticed you've skipped over a lot of these convoys. Is it just because you're not ready to take them on, or is it?
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw that last one, but that convoy had a bunch of level 1 vehicles, which doesn't sound very, it doesn't sound impressive. Oh, it's level 1, whatever.
Yeah.
But I have almost no weapons to deal with that. Like, I have a harpoon that I can't take tires off with, and I have a shotgun that I'm out of ammo for.
I see.
So when in doubt, just, hijack it, GTA style.
There you go. Actually, that was fairly easy as far as it goes. Like, if you had the harpoon and just pulled that tire off straight away, like I could imagine scrapulences wouldn't be that bad to almost try and farm if you could find them.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I did this on purpose to talk about something, and I can't remember what I was intending to talk about here. Oh well. So, if you steal other faction's vehicle, you are disguised as that faction. So, if I were to roll up, this is a Scrotus faction vehicle, so if I were to roll up on a Scrotus war camp in this, they wouldn't sound the alarm until I got out.
Yeah, there you go. An undetected by Scrotus faction. That's kind of nice.
So, one of the mechanics, so you can sneak up, and I'm pretty sure you can actually defeat most of the camps without ever triggering any of the base defense things.
Just by stealing that faction's car and driving in?
And most of them have back entrances or alternate ways you can go in to not trigger the main entrance stuff.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
You still have to murder everybody inside, but it gives you a surprising number of options. And the scrapulence sucks. It doesn't.
It seems like it's really struggling to get up that hill.
It doesn't handle for shit. It doesn't have any power. But it is worth a lot of scrap, so that's why we stole it. And we don't have one in our collection yet, so we gotta add it in. Because once you capture a car, you can summon it at any stronghold. Which, again, great quality of life feature if you want to use a different car, but...
Yeah. Do you have to upgrade that car as well?
You can't upgrade that car.
Okay, so you're just summoning it just to
the only
basically disguise yourself.
Yeah, the only car you can upgrade is the Magnum Opus.
Okay.
Everything else is what it is. Which, it would be fun if you could upgrade everything, but I totally understand from a design perspective why they wouldn't want to try and deal with that.
That'd be awful, actually.
Just take a shortcut. It's fine. We're fine.
You gotta treat her careful.
Chum and I are in agreement on that one. That was a bit risky for what it was.
We're fine. It's all good. When I get out of the car over here, Chum will fix everything up. You won't even notice.
And it doesn't take any scrap for him to repair, does it? It's just...
No, he'll just do it automatically. There is a quick repair option that takes scrap, which is a huge trap, and don't ever do it if you play this game. Just, once you unlock one fast travel point, just kill anybody around you and fast travel back somewhere, and it'll be better.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a better option.
So this is actually the last balloon, and I don't know if you noticed, but as we've gone, they've added a few extra elements. You gotta flip the switch. You gotta destroy these cables. So they're kind of ramping it up, and eventually the balloons become almost puzzly on how you have to do them to get a good... And here's where the yellow comes in, because I was looking around like, where am I supposed to go? And you see a flash yellow, you're like, oh, right there.
Yeah, that is really helpful.
So I think this one has actual people in it too. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different place. Nope, nobody here.
And just the design of the game, like it's nice. Just a little attention to detail here, attention to detail there. You know, it's not all. Yeah, it's a lot of like rock and metal sticking out of it, but it's just like the little stuff that they added on. That's just kind of nice, like a searchlight over here. You know,
It feels like a wasteland, but it feels like it's actually like used. Like people actually try and live here.
yeah, it's not like Fallout style where it's just like you're walking past the same building 6 different times and it's all just scrap.
It is where the no jumping comes in really frustrating. Like, come on, it's knee high.
That's a step, not even a jump. Out of fuel.
Yeah, we don't have any gas. Luckily, we passed a gas can on the way up, so... Now, I assume that this generator thing was what you filled up. Like, that would make sense, right? Like, it's clearly smoking, got some buttons on it. Nope. That's not it.
It's like plugged into the thing as well.
Yeah, right, so I figured it would fuel it, and then I have to try and find where to put in gas. Because this is one of the very first things I did in my playthrough, because it does unlock the fast travel location, and it shows you where everything else is, so it's a high point. I will probably, in future... Spoilers, there's more than Jeet's territory. There are other ones. Cut it down to just the really cool ones. But I do like to show them off. And just for funsies. Explosions.
Such a waste of gas.
And again, I become frustrated at the lack of even minor jumping.
You know, just looking at the hot air balloon, it also had the yellow around where you put in the fuel.
It does.
So they really hit on that. Like interactables, they're gonna be yellow.
Which the whole like generator thing is yellow,
Mhm.
but you can't interact with it at all. So it's sometimes a bit of a red herring, but for the most part, it's decent. I do like it for trying to find your way around some of these environments where it's like, okay, here's clearly what I'm supposed to do next.
Yeah, because just that last ledge alone, you know, where you're walking up, looking at it, I would assume that you could try and climb up anywhere. So for me, it would have taken 3 or 4 times as long just trying to mash my way through that.
So the weak versus strong, it's popped up a couple times. It doesn't really matter, but the weak versus strong scarecrows basically is how hard you have to ram it, or how much, or how high a level your harpoon has to be to do something about it. So the weak scarecrows I can take care of right now. The strong ones I have to ram into because I can't harpoon them down yet. I need to level it up.
And that's stuff you can get the attachment for, like the ram bar and things like that.
Yeah, they can all be leveled up, but to do that, we have to lower the threat in Jeet's territory.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those, well, you got to destroy some of these, but you can't destroy some of them until you destroy other ones and level up and buy the stuff you need to destroy them.
So it's a little bit of backtracking.
Honestly, I don't ever feel like the scarecrows are backtracking if you're driving around a lot, because you just end up driving past them often enough that you're like, oh, I'll just harpoon them on my way by, and by the time you're ready to basically be done, they're all gone.
And that's kind of nice. And it seems like it would be one of those things that you do, like, oh, I'm on my way to a stronger scarecrow. I'll have a look for some some caravans and stuff on the way.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'll do too, is like, oh, I'm headed this way. If I go a little bit out of my way, I can just drive by the scarecrow and call it a day. Just catch it on my way by and head on to where I'm going.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's all the balloons. That's what happens. What stealing a vehicle looks like. And we're going to go do some actual mission stuff now, instead of just playing around, exploring the really cool environment.
That is one thing in story-driven games that give you kind of more of an open world feel. When I know that when I'm playing them, I will do the first part of the story mission, and then 100 hours later, after I've done almost every side quest in game, I'm back to doing the story mission.
Which most games I feel like don't do very well, because like Fallout 4, you know, I got to where it was like, okay, here's free reign, go do whatever, and then you do a mission and it's like, where's my son? I don't know, what have you been doing for the last 100 hours? Going up to level 50. Maybe you should have looked for your son then.
Yeah, and it's especially with repeatable quests. Those get a bit tedious, and that was one of the things in Fallout 4 that I didn't enjoy.
But this one, I feel like it's like, you know, well, you got to do all this stuff, and you can kind of cash it as like, well, I'm getting all this scrap so I can upgrade my car to do this stuff or whatever. And it's a little less, you know, time constrictive or whatever. So this is the Archangel menu. These are the pre-made magnum opuses that he's come up with.
There's that body style I like.
Actually, no. It's the shovel face.
Really?
Yes. The 3 body styles actually look quite similar. So everyone who voted was wrong. You should have voted shovel face. Congratulations, you all suck. Because now I gotta go find it. That's the next quest, is I gotta go find the specific body I need for this specific Archangel. I also have to do that upgrade, but I can't get that upgrade until I go and find the body I need.
Yeah, it's like you've got it showed you what you needed to do to get it on the bottom there. You had to complete some story missions.
Which it's also really good at being like, this is exactly what you have to do to unlock this upgrade, and it's very clear, and there's never any like ambiguity. Like, you have to, you know, reduce threat to 3 in Jeet's territory to get this upgrade. Okay, I know how to do that. I know exactly what's going on.
And that's kind of nice. There's always a little bit of discovery that you want in games, but at the same time, stuff like this, I feel like them telling you straight out is probably the better option.
So we've unlocked a new thing we can do, which is projects, to make Jeet Stronghold suck less. So here's the project list. With all of those need, you know, 2, 3, 4 parts for all of those projects.
A maggot farm.
Oh yeah, also
you gotta clean one somehow.
All the strongholds also have scrap scattered around places that you can try and go find, because of course they do. So I think
it's a valued commodity. Why wouldn't you just leave it lying around?
I actually did that between videos. Oh yeah, so we got to go back and get the dog.
I'm glad we came back to that, because I was very concerned about the dog in the last video.
I do like how just the way the videos have worked out, everyone's been super worried about the dog like all the time. And the dog has always been kind of in limbo between videos. So we're going to go ahead and do that, because Chum's Buggy is basically required. It's not officially required, but...
Chum can't always just be a passenger. Sometimes he's got to go and have a little chum time.
This is telling us about the different camps. There are 4 different camps. It's also telling us how to use balloons. Because I did that too early, apparently.
Just ahead of the game.
So the blue circles are the real side quests of this game, and most of them are worth doing, and at least somewhat interesting. I don't think I've ever done an actual side quest in this game where I felt like, why did I do that? That was a pointless waste of time.
That's good. Some side quests in other games are definitely, you know, at the end of it, you're like, that was cool and all, but I don't feel like it was very rewarding or even kind of help progress the story in a non-linear way, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, like, it's just like, why Why am I doing this? Why is this a thing for this game? This doesn't add anything. It's not interesting.
Become o'er the horizon.
Got a twofer there. Do I shoot out tire or shoot out driver? Yeah, like I say, it highlights what you're going to shoot, so you can real easily tell where it is you're aiming. And just blowing cars up is real satisfying.
Plus, you get the sweet head-on smash.
Also doing that is super satisfying.
Ripping someone in half with the harpoon. That'd be satisfying.
I will stick with the harpoon as my main, basically the main weapon of choice through the entire rest of the game.
Now, do you get other weapons that you can mount on this?
You do. So, spoilers, but you end up getting the harpoon, the sniper rifle, which you can't really use while moving. You can kind of like crawl around if you need to change your angle, but you can't be driving and using it.
Yeah.
You get flame pipes, which are exactly what they sound like, and you get something called a thunderpoon.
Thunderpoon.
Yep. Not as dirty as it sounds.
I was gonna say, that sounds a little more aggressive than you'd like.
No, it's good. It's not my favorite though.
My chapel, my sanctum, my sacristy.
And yet, head-on smashes are great because I have a ramming bar, so they do extra damage. And there are, of course, achievements for killing vehicles from different factions, and vehicles in general. So
I noticed when you killed that vehicle, like the gas tank flew off from it. Can you jump out and grab that before it blows up?
yeah, so to actually ignite the gas tank, you have to like undo the cap and ignite it. Like they're pretty heavy-duty metal gas cans. Oh, look, it's the puppy. It's fine. It's still got a limp leg, but he's fine. So it's like the gas can that's stored in the back just goes flying, and so you can just go pick up that gas can and use it like any other gas can.
I'm taking it back to Jeet's fortress. Meet me there.
So this is Chum's Buggy. It is absolutely required if you want to 100% the game, and not just in the sense of, you need it to complete your collection. No, you have to actually have this to do some of the, not missions, but some of the minigame or not events, I would say, out in the territory. Because the dog is the only thing that can detect mines.
That sounds awful. Trying to drive through a minefield. Also, it doesn't look like this car handles as well.
It does not, but it goes over dunes and stuff really well. The other big issue is that you can't repair it, and it has no weapons.
So you're a sitting duck if anybody came out to...
So the dog points and barks as to where you're going, and if you're, depending on if I get the audio balance right, you might not be able to hear it, but barks with a different pitch when you're close enough to trigger the mine to pop up. One bright side is that if you destroy mines, it gives you shotgun shells, which is your main line of defense since you don't have anything else. So that
is kind of nice.
One small bonus, but this is the only minefield clear we will be seeing, because I hate them so much.
It's a missed opportunity to shiv Punisher there.
Yeah, the guy he's standing by himself and he's almost dead. I don't need to spend a shiv on that.
Which way?
But yeah, the dog will point in a different direction and howl differently depending on where the mines are. And the mines will not only explode your vehicle if you drive over them, if you accidentally walk too close to them, they will kill you in a single explosion. Because, of course, they will. So, I think theoretically you could stay in the car the whole time, but the dog will just ping off whichever mine's the closest. So I feel like that's a great recipe for accidentally backing into one while you're trying to do circles and follow the direction the dog is barking.
Yeah, it seems a bit... Yeah, Minefield's not my cup of tea.
So there are a lot of them, though. There are, I think, 10 minefields in Jeet's territory.
Oh, goodness. And it doesn't look like that lowers the threat any lower than just pulling down a scarecrow.
It doesn't, but you have
Which-
to do it if you want the threat to go all the way to 0.
Yeah, that seems pretty nightmarish.
It is the single biggest beef I have with this game are the minefields.
I can imagine.
And so
They just don't seem like fun. It's one of those things, kind of like in Fable, where when you wanted to get the extra chests and stuff, you had to have the dog with you to have him like tell you where the treasure was.
So the other fun thing is minefields won't detect on your map if you're in the Magnum Opus, unless you drive like right next to them. So if you want to discover them, you either have to do what I do and pull up a guide and drive around, or drive this stupid-ass buggy everywhere to have the dog start barking randomly, because the dog will sense them a little ways away.
But then you run the risk, of course, being, completely defenseless.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing of this game is your car and customizing your car, and then you put such a big chunk in where you literally just can't use your car, and you have to use this other one.
Seems like a bit of an oversight.
Like, I kind of understand what they're doing, and in all fairness, considering what it is, the dog barking system works really well once you're used to it. Like, you can tell exactly what's going on once you get used to how it works. So they implemented it as well as can be expected for such an awful design decision, but... And we make him a little bed out of
I like that.
out of an oil barrel.
Now stay.
That's nice. It's comfy. Fits him well.
So now we can switch to the Chum's Buggy at any stronghold. So these are all the vehicles we can get. You can see they all have 2 medals for all of them.
The design choices on some of these are incredibly innovative. Just one of them looks like flat out Lawnmower Man. You've got spikes coming out everywhere.
So these are all the different Archangels. So these are all the different pre-built configurations of the Magnum Opus. Eventually we'll get to where we can make all of them, but yeah, so next time we will probably do some camps, depending on if you guys like them or not, and we'll probably do some more missions, because Jeet's got one for us, and we gotta go find a car body.
But certainly no minefields.